Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Michelle. This is now part 3 of the bottom surgery. Okay, so now you are, let's see, where did we leave off? So we left off, that's right, you're going to the doctors and you're having everything removed. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, please. It would definitely help me out. It would let me know that you like this content and that you enjoy hearing about my experience and you know what kind of things to expect going into different things. Okay, so we'll go right into it. You get to the doctors and they say, okay, we're going to remove everything. You're like, okay, this is cool, and obviously you're scared to death because now you're realizing the catheter's coming out, so it's probably not going to be fun. And you're told that there's packing all inside, and all of that's about to come out. Oh boy. Okay. So get to the doctors, feet are up in the stirrup. They say, okay, take a deep breath. And then as you release, they pull the catheter out. Wow. Super uncomfortable. Definitely not fun. Yep, out the catheter came, and it's very unpleasant. It was not fun. So, catheter's out of the way. Packing is out of the way. Or the packing that's holding everything there is out of the way. And the next one, same thing. Deep breath. They grab a hold of the packing and start pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and it feels like it's like an eternity of pulling all this like material literally out of you. And finally, and as it's happening, like you can feel the pressure like release, and it feels so weird, like weird, because it's coming out. It's not painful, it just feels very, very weird. There's like a lot of pressure all of a sudden relieved. It's very, very strange feeling. And so now you're just kind of like in shock, like oh my God, what just happened? So next thing now, she's, all that's done. You kind of clean everything up and everything. And she holds a mirror and you to it, and you can kind of look at it for the first time without everything there. And oh my God, like unbelievable what you see. Now it doesn't look like, how do I explain it? It doesn't look like it, like the after of healing of it. It's like it still looks, it's very, very swollen. It's not what it would look like when it's fully healed. It's definitely still, there's a lot going on and your body's trying to heal, so it looks a little funky, but it's there. It's definitely there, and you're like, oh my God, what am I looking at? So anyway, so your legs are up in the stirrup and your legs are spread, so everything is kind of semi-open. You can kind of see, and she kind of points around at different things, and you have, you give like a little cotton swab on a stick, and you kind of move things around, and you can kind of like touch, like, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? Look, and it's kind of neat. Like you get like a little lesson on your anatomy, on your new anatomy, which is kind of neat. And so then now she breaks out the dilators. The dilators are these hard plastic cylinders. They look like toys that you would use for fun, except these are hard as a rock, like hard as a rock. So the dilation devices that they give you is from Soul Source, and it comes in like kind of like a felt bag like this, and inside you just kind of lift up the flap and you get the dilators. So now this is the smallest one. This is the orange, and it gives you the different dots here and this little notch here that you can kind of hold on to use. So what you do is you insert it, kind of like this and under, and you go to as far as up as you can with the dots. So this is, like I said, this is the smallest one. And as you can see, it has like that slight curve, like I was saying, so that we can fit under the pelvic bone. And then the next size up is you get the purple one. Same thing. It's got the blue dots, a little groove here. It's got little hand grooves in the back here that you can hold on to. And same thing, it's got that curve. This one obviously is a little bit thicker. Next one you get is the blue one. It's got the 5 dots on it. It's got the curve. Obviously you can see that this one is quite a bit thicker. So if you look, you can see the size difference. Just like that. And then the very last one is the green one. Kind of like a mint. Same thing, dots, little handles. And then comparison to the orange one, you can see it's like quite a bit bigger. So yeah, so when you're using these, you have to start with this one, and then eventually you can work your way up to the biggest one. It's not going to be pleasant. It's not going to feel amazing. Like I said, they are hard plastic. So just be prepared for that. Also, so the flexible one looks just like this. I know. This one is a soft, flexible, kind of like a rubbery material, not rubber, silicone. And same thing, this one allows you can kind of put it in and it stays, and it kind of bends under the pelvic bone and it can stay in place. And it has this there to, obviously keep it from going all the way in. Not that it can go all the way in. But yeah, so these come in different sizes. I'll put the link in the description below of the website of where you can find these. They have all different sizes, shapes, thicknesses, everything like that. So dilating. I'll probably do, maybe I'll do something a little more talk about this in another video. But dilating is basically where you're going to take this dilator, starting off with the smallest one. You're going to lube it up with with like a water-based lubricant, and when you're at the doctor's, she takes the first one that you have now, the orange one, and she asks if you want to do it, and you should learn how to do your own thing and get your own feel for it. So you take it and you slowly insert it into your new opening, and you put it in as far as you can until you feel pressure all the way up at the top. And you can kind of look at the lines and you can see the depth of how many lines in. The depth of your canal is going to be mostly based off of the size you were prior to surgery. So if you were a very fortunate person, your canal will be very deep. If you weren't, your canal will be a different size, and everyone's canal will be different. So just the lines of where you put it in are going to be different for every single person. So now you have it in, and you can feel the pressure. You can feel that it's all up to the top, and you can see where you're at for that line. And that's where you want to try to aim every single time you're dilating, which is now going to be 3 times a day. Morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime. Just as long as you're doing it 3 times a day and you kind of give yourself some space. And it takes, you want to do it, and everyone's going to have, like, every doctor and nurse will kind of give you like a different timeline. But usually I think that the most common one is usually about 10 to 15 minutes. You put the dilator in and you just hold it in place and tight to inside. Not to the point where you're hurting, but you want to hold it tight, because while your insides are healing, your canal, the skin will start to contract and shrink. So if you're not holding the dilator in, if you're not dilating often enough, what happens is that your canal will shrink, and the depth that it was will become less and less and less and less and less. So that's the importance of dilating, which is why you want to make sure that you're on like a very strict regimen, at least for the first 6 months, at least. If not, you can do it more than that. And I'll go into like a mistake I made. So you want to make sure that you really try to stick with it the best you can. When you get through the first orange dilator, and again, it might be different, like each country might have something different, or each location, but I'm pretty sure sole source is the same for at least in the United States. So now you you have the orange one in, and you finish all that, and the nurse shows you how to do it all, and it's just, it feels very weird. It's very uncomfortable. It's cold. It's very, very hard. It's not, it's not, it's not exciting, like, at all. Once when you get home, you now kind of you're on your own to kind of figure this out. So what you do is, after you insert the first one, you're going to want to do this for the first, probably couple of weeks, a month, using just that one, getting used to it, figuring it out, and just holding the depth there. And as soon as you're able to and you feel comfortable, maybe after like the second week, the third week of dilating, maybe experiment, take the next size up, take the purple one, and try inserting that. But make sure you start with the orange, so get it, kind of open, get the next one in. Very, very slow, lot of lubricant, make sure and then get it in and hold it into the same position as you did as your first one. It's very, very important that you hold it, because otherwise it kind of like slides back out. So you hold it in place 10-15 minutes. What I used to do is I would lay in bed. I used to put a towel down, because it is kind of messy. So I'd have a towel down and some paper towels, and you have like the lubricant on the side of you, and you have like all your stuff, and it's like it's a whole process, and it's unfortunate, but it's part of the healing process. Make sure that you you're cleaning and kind of wiping and stuff like that, and insert it all the way, and you hold it. And I would watch TV. I would sit and watch TV and just hold the dilator in for as long as I can. Kind of switch off hands and hold it, and you kind of use one finger, and you just kind of do do your thing. Try to keep yourself busy during the time that you're doing it, and eventually it gets easier and easier. So you can kind of like, as it stretches and you get like the bigger dilators in, it gets easier and easier. And you don't have to go all the way up to the biggest one. I mean, that's up to you. That's all on how big you want your opening to be. And it doesn't stay open like that. Like it's just like a real, like a real woman's vagina and stuff like that. It kind of contracts after a while. And anyway, so you just, you keep dilating as much as you can. Mistake I made was I dilated pretty rigorously for the first 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months. And after that, it got really old. It gets really annoying, and it's just a lot of work. And I went back to work. I was back to work after 7 weeks. I felt totally fine. Like my recovery was like nothing. I was up walking around the house. I was doing stuff after the catheter, and everything was done. I mean, as if almost nothing happened. I just sat on my donut all the time and watching TV or sitting and eating dinner or eating or going out, or, I was driving around. I was doing things like, some people will go back to work sooner. Some will take longer. It's all up to your body. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video.